start streaming. Then we go here. And I'm going to say streaming now. Publish. And I'm going to go here. Streaming now. YouTube.com/Michael. Share. Okay. We're going to have a nice little history lesson. It looks so gross. That's okay. We're going to have oh, everyone's here already. That was fast. We're going to have a nice little history lesson, assuming that this audio is on, which it is. Hello, everybody. We're going to have a fun little history lesson. So this is good. By the way, I want to thank everybody, which I've been thanking on Twitter. Let's talk. I'll give it a minute till there's 100 people here, then we can discuss what happened yesterday. It was really, really funny, and I stole a page from Dana Lash. Got enough for the hippo brush yet? Yeah, thanks for Cody. Spoiler alert next time. Yeah. So. Yeah. So I was what was I looking up? I know what it was. I was at the gym and I was looking at shaving brushes. And there was the shaving brushes that had like love the book, keep up the good work. I promise. Thank you so much, Joey. I was looking at shaving brushes, and there were these shaving brushes that had like the base was resin. You could look at this on my Insta, and one of them had it was like made out of amber. I don't know if it's real amber or like amber colored resin, and had a giant crane fly in it, which looks like a mosquito. Another one was clear for going after the words conservative. Thank you. I don't know who you mean. Spoiled alert. Thank you, Cody. Had gears in it. I'm like, okay, I like things that are cerebral. And I put it on Insta. I'm like, do we like this? And people are like, yes. People are like, no. And I was looking around some more, and I found that they had a shaving kit. Oh, the worst conservative thought. Okay, I'll get to Mindy in a second. This was a really funny one. And I saw they had a shaving kit made out of a hippo tooth. And since I've been going all Cruella de Vil, I'm like, it was I thought it was $400. I joined Twitter primarily to follow you. Damn, you don't disappoint. Well, thank you. That's really nice. Thank you. I'm glad. Okay. So I saw this hippo shaving kit, and I put it on Insta, and I'm like, I hope one day I am crazy enough and stupid enough to buy this. Wait, is she actually Randy Couture's girlfriend? I know Randy. I mean, I worked on. I don't know why they keep mentioning Randy Couture. Is there? Do you believe TNR, the new right, is a chapter short that might interconnect everything with these similar manifestations around the world, especially the West? No, because it's about America, and I think it's dynamic in a relationship. So it would be bad to put it in a book and make it be static. I was doing a time capsule. Thank you, Joseph. I look forward to meeting you later this year. Have a couple of monsters and your fellow anarchist again. Mazel tov, sir. Oh, I got trolled with the monsters, which I'll show you in a second. I have to thank Chris for that. Chris said, I'll show you guys later. We're going to have a history lesson. We're going to talk about Mindy. I got a lot to get through. Okay. So, what was I saying? Okay. So I put on Insta, I go, I hope one day I'm stupid and crazy, I'm rich and crazy enough to buy something like this. And then yesterday, out of nowhere, this Mindy chick, who I'm not that familiar with, which is, I hate it when people are like, oh, I've never heard of you. That's a reflection on me. I've never heard of her. I met her months ago. And, okay. And when was this? I really want to get the date down, because this is really, really funny. Was it April? I want to say April. It was March 2nd. This is 3 months ago. Okay, 3 months ago. I Joey Salads, who was on my show this week, which in terms of guests I've had who've changed my opinion of them over the course of an episode, he might be number one. I came in thinking I was going to clown him, and he made a true believer out of me. So I I host this event. It was not affiliated with CPAC, no matter what she seems to think. And there's a bunch of panels. It wasn't perfectly organized, and how it would be staggered. And because we were running out of time, things were going long, as these things are, happen. And then the next room was like a party room, so people are drifting in and out. You guys know what this scene is like. And why do you drink Monster over Red Bull? I enormously enjoy the taste better. It's much easier on my stomach. And I think those are the big... and makes me less jittery. So Joey makes a great case why he should be elected, and I think it'd be the smartest thing for Republicans if he gets elected. Because I was asking about the issues. He's like, I don't know about these issues. All I know is social media. And it's like, holy shit. It's like, yeah, he's like, I want to be the Republican AOC. I'm like, that's brilliant. I teach these guys how to use memes. I'm like, this is brilliant. So there's a panel before the last panel. What's your opinion on Four Locos? They make you feel no guilt about committing crime. I tweeted about that back in the day when I was high on one of them. And while I'm talking to this panel, this girl from the audience like raised her hand, whatever, and we go to her, and she starts delivering this. You know how sometimes when you are at an event, like a book signing or something like that, and someone gets up and has a question, but it's not a question, it's a speech. Like they have a mic and now is their chance to blather, right? So she's just going on, and then she basically gets up on stage, and I'm like, oh, okay, I guess we're doing this now. And then the next panel was hers with other people. It wasn't her panel. There's like 4 people. And since she got her story out before that panel, I didn't go to her because we had a very limited amount of time. And that was the extent of our interaction. And I was like, holy shit, I can't believe this bitch just crashed the stage. And I'm hardly a shrinking violet here. And there has been no further communication between her and me since then. Obviously, I was very impressed by how well thought out, articulate, and unique her perspective was and what she had to say. Really great ideas expressed in original ways that I had never heard before. So then Joey sends out a tweet, and she replies, oh, Michael Malice, the one who moderated. I don't know why moderated was in quotes. My panel never asked me a question. Fuck him. And I just go, yeah. Then I just quote tweeted her. I go, you crashed the panel beforehand. And I go, Joey and I aren't in the same room together. He can't see me. This is not a window. Hope this helps. And then she had something else about calling me a fag, basically, or like, oh, you're not masculine or something like that. And I go, maybe I went there first. I remember I said, hey, what is? Because she kept going. I go, what does Mindy and something else have in common? They're both in my jock. And oh my god, blah blah blah. And it's like, all right. And then I realized, wait a minute. Dana Lash, who I admire enormously, what she does on her show is she reads hate tweets and hate letters, and she makes it a segment. I go, I could do this. Let me do this. So someone came at me something like, your opinion is worthless. No one cares what you think. And I said, no, people do care what I think, and I get paid to do this. And then people started sending me contributions, and I was putting them up. And and that to me, talk about trolling. Like even if it's $1, right? I mean, when someone says no one cares what you think, you're an asshole, and I'm like, someone just handed me $1, and so what do you got now? And not only are they going to spurg out because they just been owned, it's also how is it that this guy I've never heard of, people are just handing him money for no reason? Like, they don't have a context to wrap their head around it. So and then I'm like, all right. So people kept chipping in, and I did what Maj Torre does. Maj, who's a great guy, and I didn't know if this was obnoxious or not. And I thought, okay, um, uh, whenever people contribute money for him, and Nick Monroe used to do this, R.I.P. in peace. So I'm like, let me put the screen cap up. If people find it annoying and they unfollow me, fuck them. You know what I mean? Let me acknowledge people who are taking money out of their pocket that they could be using, and they're giving it to me for who's an asshole for no reason. I'm like, all right. So then it got to a point where I'm like, holy shit, we're close to the money for this rhino tooth. And I'm like, yeah, if people want to pay stupid money for a stupid item, let's do this. And Steve dropped $100, and it's like, all right, isn't Mindy some kind of Tommy Lahren type? Darren, literally everything I told you is the extent of what I know about her, which is not a testament on her accomplishments or cred. It was just my ignorance. So I don't know who she is, but again, that speaks to my ignorance. There's this weird thing on Twitter where like, oh, I've never heard of you. That's a reflection on the person who's ignorant. It's not a reflection on that person. It was very weird. Um, so yeah, and let me just check. We reached the goal, and now I've got that $300, and I'm gonna buy me a shaving brush made out of a rhino's tooth. And my last shaving brush, which was given to me by Tom Woods from Harry's Razors with my initials inscribed, I'm gonna have to put that somewhere. So I don't know what to do with that. Um, I, as you guys know, don't believe in going after your own. Hippo, I'm sorry, it's hippo, hippo. Not right, hippo. I don't believe in calling people out, number one. And number two is, then she's like, oh, I don't want to fuck you. I know you don't want to fuck me. That's fine. It's like, you're the one who's upset because 4 months ago I didn't give you enough attention. 3 months, excuse me. That's literally what this is about. And you've been stewing at this for 3 months. Are you a crazy person? Like, I have done many panels on television. And if I don't get called on, that sometimes just happens. There have been many times I've been called for a panel and I'm just bumped. Matt Lewis and Brian Kilmeade from Fox. I was just on his podcast 2 weeks ago. He rescheduled 4 times. What, you think someday someone's gonna mention Kilmeade and I'm gonna be like, fuck? No, of course not. What the fuck are you talking? It was very odd. It was very odd. So, and that's the other thing is she did have a chance to talk. She got out her whole story in the previous panel. And there are 3 other people on that stage. It's just amazing. Like, anytime there's like any kind of attention-seeking behavior, attention has to be earned, in my view. So it was very interesting. And the funny thing is, long in the tooth, and now I've got a brush from something that's long in the tooth. So it works out very, very well. I really like Matt Lewis. Did not know of him before. I thought those interviews were great. I am really enjoying contributing. Having discussions with conservatives who are not just talking points. So, that is I was very impressed by him, and the fact that he went for round 2 and he's like, all right, I thought about what you said. That is what higher compliment can you give someone who comes back and is like, I've thought about what you said and I have more questions. So I thought those were great. The Andrew Heaton one, which I just put up on my Facebook, was also really, really great. Any standout shaving soaps you've tried? Oh, there's a bunch. I mean, there's a bunch. There's a bunch. What was really sad was, and this makes me very sad, the white knighting, especially the guys who work out and they're all fit, and it's like, dude, like there's something so, to me, this is Russian culture. In Russian culture, a man who is weak, and it's not a physical thing, emotionally weak, because women are strong in Russian culture too. In Russian culture, a man who is weak is like adjacent to how he's to basically like a pedophile, in the same that you just look at this person with total revulsion and disgust, and you're almost not a human being. Like it's just, again, like pedophile adjacent in terms of how they are viewed. So whenever I see um, this frantic white knighting from guys who, at least in some way, are trying to make themselves stronger, it's just like it makes me so sad and repulsed at the same time. So it was, and it's what's really funny to me. It maybe this is being in New York. This has never happened to me, but as a New Yorker, if a homeless person walked up to you and said, "You're ugly, you're dumb, you have a small dick, this or that," the reaction isn't going to be like, "Oh shit, this guy's got my number." The reaction is going to be like, "Oh my god, um, I'm being approached by a homeless person, and I got to escalate the situation. I mean, escape the situation." So, when people come up to me on Facebook, though, "Oh my god, you're on Twitter, you're so ugly," or "You're a pussy," and it's like and then I reply something like, "Yeah, I am ugly, but I'm not wrong." "Oh, you just self-owned." It's like, why would anyone care if an antagonistic stranger walked up to you and said things about you, even if they were true? That does not emotionally register with me ever. And maybe I'm blessed because other people don't have that apparently. Or I know I didn't always have that, but now it's just like, okay, it's just like I don't know you. Why would I, you know, Lao Y86 and Serpent ZA would be great guests on your welcome. I am booked through to mid-July, and Tuesday it's going to be the toughest interview I've ever done. It's Lynn Ulbricht, Ross Ulbricht's mom. I've already been close to tears about it, so I don't know how I'm going to get through this. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. And I just contributed 2 things to PorkFest to raise money for him, which they're going to be as a raffle. So this is going to be a very, very hard one. So that's, I guess, catching up with all that stuff. But it's the thing that I'm very proud of. The thing that I'm very proud of and delighted with Twitter is none of you guys are very, very few white knight for me. And if they do, if I put a stop to it when some people do, it's always egging them on or fucking with them, which is the right approach. I'm irrelevant here, and I'm a big boy, theoretically. Well, no, I'm big for a boy. These people are coming at me, calling me a communist, a homo, in those words. Why would you disavow them of this? Go! They're putting on a show for you. This is the fun. So yeah, have fun with them. Don't be like, don't you? He's a communist. You say he's a communist. I wish. No, 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 no. Let him keep going. This is where the fun begins. It's hilarious. So but I'm surprised how and frankly delighted and flattered how much of my audience gets it, because whenever you have a large population, there's going to be you would think some outliers who are, going to try to do the right thing, which is to defend the person who's being agreed at. No, everyone's just like, oh yeah, you really got him with that one. You should keep talking. It's great. I'm like, yes, beautiful. I'm delighted. So it's really, and I mean, watching you guys have fun with them, it makes me ecstatic because they're so, Darren, I agree with you. Thank you, Eric. Thank you. Yeah, that's exactly what I signed on the thing that I sent. A lot of people have started attributing the term the cathedral to you instead of Moanbug. Does it bug you or do you not care? It doesn't bug me. I do care. And I do make it very clear in the book it comes from him. I don't like it when people, if I use the term and didn't give him credit, I think that would be disingenuous. So I always point that shit out when I can. Like, here's the bigger one that people always attribute to me is the term midwit, which is from Vox Day. And I always correct them because that is a big insight he had, and he deserves the respect and credit for it. So, that's but I think the term cathedral, the concept, is broad enough in our, in the culture in certain circles that it's not just exclusively his idea. Like, it's been developed to some extent. Okay, so that's where we are with that stuff. Let me just check something quick. Okay, so are we gonna do? Was there something else I want to do before the history lesson? Finally finished Dear Reader the other day. Thank you for making me less ignorant. You are welcome. Uh, Thank you, James. Thank you so much. God, it's hot in here. I'm going to. Okay, I'm gonna open up a window because it's a sauna. I'm gonna be back in 30 seconds. Here's Siren's first thoughts. Is Mike being detained? I am not being detained, motherfucker. Don't you worry about that. All right. Here we go. So, it's time for. Where'd I go? I don't see myself. There I am. Okay, it's a little delay. It's time for a history lesson. You all ready? Hipster history. You probably haven't heard of it. And in fact, today we're going to be talking about one of the original. Here for the lulls. Any thoughts about the Pizzagate people are going to react now that a guy named Dr. Pizza has been arrested for pedo stuff. Oh, I think they're going to be perfectly normal about it and not make anything of it whatsoever. Okay. Are Midwit and Talib's intellectual yet idiot equivalent terms? I don't think they are. Taleb, excuse me. Talib, that's from Compound Media. I think he refers specifically to educated people, where I'm talking about marginally intelligent people. Any public events going on soon where we can chill with you? No. I don't think so. Okay. So, we're going to do a history lesson. One of the things that I discuss in the book is how marginalized people are the ones who create culture. I explain why. My theory is, did you see or plan to watch the Spencer live stream? I do not plan to watch the Spencer live stream. I am not that what do you call it? Self-involved. I'm pretty self-involved, but not to that level. And they're entitled to whatever perspective they have. That's when you create something, you put it out there. People have their own points of view, and it's perfectly valid. So okay, and I do think there's something ironic about the person I'm going to talk about, given that if Spencer is reviewing it, I thought he'd be done by now. I thought they were doing it at 7:00, so I didn't want to have this seem as cross programming with them. Okay, so one of the things I've always talked about, and Thad Russell, whose book is excellent, Renegade History of the United States, also talks about this a lot. Luke Sante's book, okay, but seriously, Dr. Pizza, simulation or controlled opposition? I'm taking bets. I've never heard of someone with the name Pizza. Maybe the writers are just getting lazy with the simulation. I don't know. It's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing. So, marginalized people create culture. Okay? One thing I also really hate is when there's different scenes and they take these figures who have never really accomplished much, who are perfectly good people, and make it out to be oh my god, this person was such an amazing figure. I don't have any names, but you know when you have all these old communist get-togethers and they talk about this guy and he led a labor strike and oh my god, da da da, and this mythologizing, and it's just like this is some asshole who didn't do anything. It doesn't make him a bad person. It just means not everyone can be on a pedestal. Okay, same thing. I'll give you a perfect example with libertarianism. Joan Kennedy Taylor. Somebody wrote a biography of her. I met her, nice lady, had a good book out, did good work, great person. She's not a major figure. She's not an important figure in this context. So one of the things I avoid is simply because someone is obscure and you haven't heard of them doesn't actually mean they're a big deal. Sometimes you haven't heard of them because they haven't really accomplished much. But the people I like to focus on are the people who have had profound impacts, not necessarily in their lives, but on who stole from them and who how they affected the culture, and where you can easily directly trace it to them specifically. That to me is important. I'm sure that Little Richard, who was one of the first rock musicians, there's some guys who none of us have heard of, who he's like, yeah, and I'm sure he would admit, I got my music from A, B, and C by combination. And those guys probably died in obscurity, but they are the root of what later became something extremely important. So I'm going to talk about someone named Jackie Curtis. And I'm really excited because I've got some stuff from the estate, which is really, really cool. So Jackie Curtis, when Andy Warhol, who is... I can't say enough things about how important he is. And the reason I got into Andy Warhol was because of Camille Paglia. And she always talked about herself as a Warholian and blah, 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 blah. So Warhol had, as people might know, in his factory where he did his art, he always had these people around him, right? These kind of degenerates. They were clearly degenerates. And he, I don't know if he was inspired. It's not clear why he had them around, whether he was inspired by them, whether he thought this gave him cred. You know, Warhol was very, very cryptic, about who he liked, who he didn't like. Maybe he just liked that he was watching a live spectacle. And I think there was very known that there was that aspect that he would just like watch crazy people act crazy and basically just be a voyeur onto real life. So there were three queens who were in his scene: Holly Woodlawn, Candy Darling, and Jackie Curtis, right? Holly Woodlawn's book, autobiography, she died recently, was A Low Life in High Heels. So, I mean, these people were really... And these are the three who were mentioned in Take a Walk on the Wild Side, right? Holly and Candy lived as women. Jackie is the one of the very first people to do the idea of gender fuck. And it's things like David Bowie, Annie Lennox. Other people have done it, like what's her name, that actress who's always wears suits, that German actress, I'm blanking her name. But what Jackie did is Jackie would dress like in dresses and makeup, but there was nothing really feminine about him. This is not someone who's passing or even trying to pass. This is a dude appropriating... Greta Garbo, thank you, Lisa. Appropriating female presentation, but this is not at all even really a drag queen. It's just like, okay, it's a dude in a dress. And at the time, it's like, what the fuck? No one had ever seen anything like this. Anytime you see glitter anywhere, that comes from Jackie. So the whole glam scene, there's a photo of... I'll show you this picture. And it's just amazing what a direct line it is from the fringe to the edgy to corporate mainstream. So here's Jackie. Marlene Dietrich, that's what I was thinking of. This is Jackie in 1970. And this is... Where's Ziggy? Hold on a second. Let me find a good photo of Bowie. And then this is David Bowie. So it was a direct theft from one after the other. So what's fascinating is, and the other thing that's interesting is if you go to Jackie's Wikipedia, it's all in the female pronoun. And I wrote to Craig, who is his biographer, I said, hey, is this appropriate? Because shortly before he died, there's a book about him called Superstar in a House Dress. I'm going to get to the clothing in a second. He changed his name to Shannon Montgomery and was trying to get a job as an actor just as a regular dude. He gets a girlfriend. The first time he has straight sex, he has an overdose and dies. So, like, heterosexuality literally killed him. Um, and I said, Craig, do you think it's weird that this is all written in the female pronoun? Because someone, this is this retroactive appropriation, because the right doesn't engage with like freak culture. And the left insists, certain types of the left insist on putting politics into everything. All of a sudden, that guy who wore a dress just to be a freak or just to look interesting is now retroactively a transgender icon and was making a big political statement, as opposed to someone who's on speed who spent 3 hours doing makeup in the mirror because he wanted to get high. So it's really, and Craig said, well, being on stage as a performer, Jackie was a girl on stage, but in his day-to-day life, he was clearly a dude. There was no pretense, and this was so there's no real accurate pronoun. I'm still not comfortable with it. So, but what I got is, so it's interesting. Craig sent me a bunch of Jackie's headshots from his estate. So and the thing is, he died very young, and there's a kind of poignancy to it. When people die young and they kind of leave their mark, that's very, very sad, and I don't think that's particularly profound for me to say. So that's him as a dude. He also had a very big James Dean fixation, as the Lou Reed song talks about. You can see the James Dean thing going on here. And most importantly, this is almost impossible to find. Because again, when you're dealing with these obscure figures, any kind of memorabilia of theirs is like, you're not going to see it. This is a signed picture from my favorite and only aunt, Josie. I love you very much, and don't forget it, no matter what. Curtis, 81. So this is thanks to Greg, who told me to give money for an escort. Well, I guess the streetwalker is kind of close enough. So, but that's the whole thing. There's nothing. This is not someone who's really. If you look up photos of Jackie, this is not someone who's passing, or even. There's no pretense that this is a woman as opposed to a guy in a dress. So, I'm sweating like Roger Ebert. So yeah, I think it's funny. I was talking to a friend of mine last week, and I feel like a lot of these figures who died young, there's very few of us who are carrying on, keeping their memory alive. And on the one hand, it sounds pompous. On the other hand, it's true, because these people have been forgotten in history. So this is another reason why Jackie Curtis is so important. Hipsters like to wear old clothing, right? Where does that come from? It comes from what they would do back in the 60s is they would go to thrift stores and buy clothes from old dead ladies for the simple reason that it was cheap. And then it became a thing. And then vintage clothes became, so it was not a function of coolness. It was not a function of taste. It was a function of poverty. Here's something else that Jackie pioneered. Whenever Jackie would get stockings or a dress, he took scissors to them and shredded them. So when you see stockings with holes that are intentional, he invented that. When you see like those kind of the punk look was 10 years later. That punk look where the dresses are cut up, that was him. And he looked like a crazy person at the time. And then later it's like, oh, okay, this is cool. So yeah, this is a very interesting person who deserves to kind of not be forgotten. And he lived in above his aunt's bar. The bar is still there. It was called Slugger Ann's. Now it's something else. It's on 12th Avenue. 12th Street and 2nd Avenue in Manhattan. So it's a shitty like NYU bar now, but it's there. So anyway, I just want to talk a little bit about because I'm very excited that I got that picture to hang, and I'm getting a glittery frame for it. And I just think it's very something I feel very strongly about. It bothers me how, and I don't have an answer, But if the left is insisting on putting politics in everything, which is their totalitarian worldview for the evangelical left specifically, and conservatives or the right don't know this whole world, this is in real time history, popular culture history being rewritten and appropriated. So it's yeah. Oof. I'm drinking an energy drink, pre-workout for fun. So that is where we are with that stuff. Thank you to Greg, who just PayPal'd. And Greg, you're the one who that escort money went towards some of this, which I've been looking for a very long time. An autographed Jackie Curtis. Say hi. Oh, Ella. Hi, Ella. She's Warren. Your daughter is so cute. Oh my god. And I don't. You know what? When kids are cute, are not cute, I don't say that they're cute. She's cute. She had those big eyes. It's very cute. Um. So yeah, it's. Oof, I have AC. I just haven't put it into the window yet. It's the humidity that's the issue. Anyway, it's also drinking this pre-workout so I can focus and pay attention. Okay. Is there something else I want to show you guys? No, I think that was the big one. Oh, the other thing is, Craig also sent me Jackie's resumes that he handed out. These are actual from the era, from the 60s. And what's fascinating, again, about how people become mythologized, if you watch the documentary about Jackie, one of the people talks about, oh, he was like built like a linebacker, he was 6'2", he couldn't pass as a woman. That's the point. I've got the stats right here. He was 5'10", 158. That's not a linebacker. And it's just really funny reading what old resumes look like, typos and all. So the typos make Jackie a person after my own heart. In this resume, he's 5'11", so that's kind of interesting. And having his address and his phone number, it's kind of cool. It's just, you know, these people who, yeah. Whew. I gotta put that AC in. Of course I'll say hi to Maya. Is that your daughter? That's a great name. When I was a kid, there was a girl I knew named Maya. And her sister said that Maya knew how to fly, but you know, we were old enough that this wasn't told us. She's like, no, I'm serious. You have to see it. And I never got to see it. And then Maya and I reconnected as adults. And I go, what did she mean by this? And both the sister and Maya had no memory of this. So I'll have no closure about this. It's something that will haunt me for the rest of my years. God, I'm so hot. Another thing that I got on eBay, which I will show you another time, is there is a book I got on eBay, which is a novel from the Harlem Renaissance, and there's like 10 copies left on Earth. It's just completely forgotten. It's called Dark Luster, so I can't wait to crack that open. Whew. I'm just sweating because of this pre-workout, because it gets the bloodstream going. What else do I want to talk to you guys about? Oh, so Montreal is I'm gonna be in Montreal July 10th through the 14th. It looks like I'm still herding the cats. Wait, so let's get back to that Mindy person. Do you guys know who she is? Was this out of character for her? Like, what was going on there? Ella. Yeah, Lisa, you were the queen of the conservatives. You ran CPAC. Wait, Greg, I don't know. You paid for this uh, Jackie Curtis picture, and I'll be in Toronto, Montreal, excuse me, 10th through the 14th. It looks like. Thank you, Joseph. Hillary Rushford hosts a podcast on men's grooming and style. I think you could fall down another rabbit hole. You could Google her. I've got plenty of rabbit holes already. Thank you, Christopher. Yeah, yeah. Wait, let me check the PayPal again. Hold on. The question was, "What's up?" I hope you had a lovely day. I don't understand. What am I missing? What am I missing? Whew. I'm reading a biography of Ed Gein now, or Gein, however it's pronounced, the serial killer. I'm just getting to the killing. Have you seen Habit 67? I have Habitat 67. I've never heard of it. Did you have a lovely evening? I've had a great evening. I saw my friend Josh, who I really think very highly of. Oh, that's interesting. Definitely have to check that out. It's Gain? Gain. Gain, okay. Let me see something. Oh, is he really dating her? Holy shit, they're a thing? Oh my god, that's so sad. Huh. I didn't realize that. I thought you were joking. I'm sorry. I have never read Sololinsky. Have you started Chernobyl yet? Okay, I have it all downloaded. I have not started it. I promise I'm going to watch it. That's all I have left to queued up. Number one. Number two is, I think there needs to be more minority representation in Chernobyl. There is a shaving. Hi, Michael. Don't have much to say except I hope a bird flies by and crap on Carla Maz's face. Hey, Miles, this is why you're wrong. You need to understand that he's a symptom. He's not the real issue. If it wasn't him, there'd be another one. Don't you get it? Or you don't get it. That's my point. So it's like when conservatives are focused on Obama, it's like, do you really think if it wasn't Obama and if it was President Hillary, it would be that different? Maybe her it would be different because she's so polarizing. But they're interchangeable. These people. Greg, the hippo had been paid for already. Yeah. So I don't. As good as Chernobyl was, it bugged me. Everybody was British. Um, if Richard didn't like the book, that's it's completely his valid opinion. He has absolutely a right to his perspective. And I will also say, I not having seen what he says, I'm sure he um, gave it careful consideration. Probably, it wasn't just dismissive of it. Absolutely underrepresented the Kazakhs in Chernobyl. Yeah. So I'm reading a book also about the Great Terror, which is going to be a long slog, but I'm halfway through it. It's fascinating stuff with the purges. Um, I've not read Devil in the White City, no. So what was I going to say? Oh, so Alinsky. I've never read Alinsky. My next book, which I don't know if I'm going to go through a publisher again or do some crowdsourcing or some comparison, um, is going to be about deconstructing how the left works. And not in a Vox Day kind of mean. I'm in a historical sense, not the contemporary stuff. That I think is, it's so. Here's what I don't get. Ben Shapiro is brazenly called a Nazi and a white supremacist on the regular. And for him, I'm not in his mind. So maybe he has something to do different publicly. I don't know. For him to be like expecting fair play or decency or any kind of porting to reality from advocates of his opponents, I don't understand his thinking. That's my fault, not his per se. But it's so I can't wrap my head around it. And the other thing is, if people are considering you a Nazi, you can't tell me they value your life. It's and you see it. Just Jason Stapleton just now. I had a great interview with him, and he just goes, "Look, both sides want an objective standard." What? What evidence do you have that the evangelical left wants an objective standard? Well, I guess unless the objective standard is my side wins and your side loses. That's objective. That's objective. I've been getting through to people, and again, this is a red pill thing. But when those who haven't, and they're just, I just shake my head because these are bright people. And I forget who it was. Dan, I think is his name. Had this great tweet. He goes, "It's like if a priest is raping you and you're yelling at him that homosexuality is a sin. You think he's going to be like, oh shit, zip? No. He doesn't fucking care. He's raping a kid. It's like, oh, you guys are violating your principles. Yeah, cool story, bro. I'm going to get you deplatformed. What the fuck? It is so weird. So I don't know. Every conservative I've talked to I've managed to move them heavily to this perspective because in my view, this is undeniable. And once you see it, you can't unsee it. Ooh. All right. This pre-workout may have been a mistake. And now from drinking that to another red one. Oh, and the project, why wasn't Hoppe discussed in anti-democracy chapter? Because Hoppe's not a contemporary figure, and I didn't want everything to be from my anarchist lens. So, your typos insight in the book cut me pretty hard. I never felt holier than thou, superior correcting them, but it took me a long time to not be that guy who would put his hand up to correct them. Isn't it so much fun not being that guy? And I gotta tell you, and this was from working with Matt Hughes. I've said this before. Someone can be very uneducated. Doesn't mean they have a low quality brain. If someone's very bad at writing, doesn't mean they're bad at speaking. If someone, here's like this, a typo is like someone who has an accent. You're telling me if you're talking to someone who's an accent, you're going to judge them on their accent? Maybe if it sounds particularly funny. But how many doctors have accents or whatever? It doesn't even enter your head. I mean, maybe this is being a New Yorker, but I would never meet someone with an accent and think that had any correlation with their level of intelligence. Because you see extremely bright people with thick accents, and you see dumb people with accents, and it cuts across everything. So it's like, okay, someone's really bad at spelling. So that person's really bad at speaking and pronouncing. So what? And all you're demonstrating is, yeah, you learn some arbitrary rules obediently. And just because someone else is dumb doesn't mean you're not dumb. That's what they don't get. Okay, you have proven this person is a moron. What is this, a seesaw? You could both be morons. Thank you, CC. It's the same thing my buddy Steven Fishback, who was on Survivor. He made the point, lots of people go on that show and they're in great shape. And then they do the challenges and they're fucked because it's not doesn't port that way. So you could have a very well-trained mind, but in a certain context, like Tom Woods, I mean, he's off the charts in terms of both education and the quality of his brain. When it comes to being quick with the quips, that's not his forte, or it is, but not to the extent I am, and he knows it. Does that make him dumb or anything like that? No, it's ridiculous. Are Rothbard and Hoppe well known in new right circles that are not anarchist libertarian? Extremely. Extremely. I don't think the tradcons are totally oblivious to this. Feigning innocence / confusion demands more of an explanation than confrontation would. I think... Well, by tradcon, do you mean like the ones on Twitter, or do you mean Ben Shapiro? Because those are two different types of... When I think of tradcon, I mean people who think we live in Weimar. Weimarica. Oh, in regard to YouTube, I agree with you. How do you know when you're finished with a book? It's hard for me to let my baby go, so to speak. Okay. Well, with me, I have a deadline, and after I've gone through it 3 times, and there's no... I mean, there's going to be typos that I'm going to be oblivious to because your brain autocorrects. I just hand it off. I mean, I always finish a first draft before I edit. So it's done in one sense at that first draft. That first draft's going to look like shit. And I actually just started re-listening or listening to the audiobook, and I can see why people liked it so much. I've never listened to it. I did it one sentence at a time. Changed my mind. Arduous March 1 deserved an Emmy. An Emmy. No. No. And I'm really enjoying the audiobook. And I can see why people enjoy it so much more when it's the author. Because it's my cadence, and an actor would not have been able to do that. Whew. I can't believe I'm getting a hippo shaving... I don't even know what it's called. Shaving set? Not a shaving brush. It's a shaving... shaver, whatever. Oh, God, I haven't gotten to that 4chan part yet. Shaving handle, yeah. It's not the kit, I'm just getting the part that you stick the blade on. So it's a handle, I guess, yeah. Oof, it's so hot. I'm feeling better. Observations on the Sidwell Friends school histrionics. I don't know what that means. What's Sidwell Friends school histrionics? Thank you, Dawn. I love seeing you on Twitter. Good news. I got my movie tickets from an electronic kiosk the other day. Hell yeah, Scott. Isn't that great? Do you feel like it's a matter of time before you banned off of Twitter, etc.? No. I think what would happen first, although, you know, Huber's talking, is there will be a competitor to Twitter where I will have a bigger impact. That's what I think is going to happen next. Though often I want to smite you, I will save up the money to buy your book. You work on your openers. Okay, I don't know that I have anything else to really uh, discuss. Yeah, I didn't ask Ruben about the Patreon alternative. But I'm gonna. I mean, yeah, so that's where I am. What do I want to talk about? I don't know. Did you guys see? Oh, he sent me a message and I never saw it. Let me check. Did you guys see the Milo interview with Jordan Peterson, and what did you think of it? I thought it was very interesting indeed. What's this? Okay, hold on. Oh, Jesus. Oh, boy. Okay. It was in the last couple of weeks. Which of your shows do you like doing more? It's tough. Any plans to read Shapiro's book? No. Um, which of your shows do you like doing more? I don't know. It's very different, and I'm sorry I don't have a good answer for you. I guess I would have to say Nightshade because I can be more myself, in a sense. Um, Kudos to Milo for not giving Jordan Peterson a pass. Milo's a smart cookie. When people think he's dumb, it's nothing about him reads dumb to me. So it's very odd when I hear that. I remembered you complaining about being done the book a long time before it was published. Was it hard recording the audio so much later on, not wanting to make corrections or addendums to things? No, it was not hard. I could have made addendums if I wanted to. And when I wrote it, despite what my editor wanted, I knew I had to make this book such that I don't make things that would become instantly outdated. And I accomplished that. And in fact, the fact that it's, happening now with all this crackdown on social media, it's perfectly timely. The thing I really didn't disagree, the thing I disagreed with about Milo is when he said that he's the only funny people in this whole sphere. And it's like, Gavin is really, really, really funny. So I don't know, and Milo knows this, so I don't know where that came from. Um, I completely disagree on that issue. Didn't Gavin launch his new... Are you into fountain pens? Oh, no, 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 no. Okay, pens. This is an issue. These are my favorite pens. These are the only pens I write with. They don't make them anymore. The old school Bics. I will only write with these. So you will always see me with them. I have a drawer full. These are my favorite pens. They're very kind of utilitarian, low class, but they're also 80s looking to me. So I love these pens. Right now they make them with the whatever this is called, the stem's the term, are clear. Fuck that shit. I want the white Bics that I grew up with. Thank you. Milo tried to say he started the sign thing. Okay. That may be possible that he popularized it. I don't know. But he can't say with a straight face, no pun intended, that he's the only funny person. Come on. I'm not even talking about me. Gavin certainly is hilarious. Sam Hyde is hilarious. If I send you G20s, will you use them? What is a G20? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. Freespeech.tv. I am Googling it and it shows me the 20 top countries. It's a globalist event. The G20. It's an international forum. You say you don't believe in should. This resonates with me, but not sure why. Can you explain your thinking on this? Loving Marvis, by the way. Sure, that's an easy one. This is why I'm an anarchist. I am not in a position to tell anyone else what will make them happy. I haven't figured out all the time for me. And even if something works for me, does not at all mean it's going to work for somebody else. So to tell someone should, you can tell someone should, you could do this way. If you want to do X, in my experience, I found blah, 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 and you give that information, but you should always, or you shouldn't. No. I think it's a very, who are you? Who the fuck are you? That's where my anarchism comes in. You're not above here. Only in a certain context. It's a pen, a G20 pen. Let me look this up. I'm probably not going to use it. I'm not going to lie. No. I will not use this. I like my Bics. I love these pens. They make me happy. Ugh, now I'm hot. I like Fisher Space pens. Let me look what those are. You should use Faber-Castell pens. I don't like fancy pens. I'm okay. This is okay. Hold on. I'm getting Ayn Randy in here. One of the great things about triggered. You got it. You've won. You've broken me. One of the big ideas that I got from the Fountainhead, and it's an idea that most people don't pick up on, is the idea of things being organic to their nature. So, for example, a pen is supposed to be frivolous and utilitarian and disposable. So to have a fancy pen to me is insincere to a pen's nature. Maybe it's different because I'm a writer, so I have a pen, one of these in every room and in the bathroom. So I always have one handy. If I have my one pen, I always have to keep track of it. That contradicts the nature of what a pen should be in my life. So that is why I will not use a fancy pen. Yeah, you can send me, if you want to send me crypto, sure. Those ugly map jeans was paid for by Greg and are being sold because those jeans were one of 30. So if I had one pair of pants, yeah, I would be pissed. If you want to send me crypto, you can send it here. Why is he upset? I don't know. I paid you to put them on and they weren't as bad, to be honest. They were bad. Skywalker. They were bad. Gave me hips. I don't want to be Shakira. Those days have passed. Oh, you're mad at her. Yeah. Fight. I don't know hips, that's true. I have... Well, my hips kind of stick out now, because I'm on a cut again. What did you guys think of, What did you guys think of this episode with, Joey Salads. I thought it was great. I really enjoyed it. Better than, yeah, much better than expected. He really impressed me. Do you believe in magic? Yes, I do. How far will Trump supporters be able to carry Yang under Gabbard into the Democratic primary? Nowhere. He really. Oof. Tulsi has not replied, and I called her out on Joe Rogan. Let's check one more thing. Whew. I don't know what that is, so. Tuesday is going to be so hard. Does anyone have any questions they want me to ask Lynn Ulbricht? This is where we say have Rogan get Gabbard on You're Welcome. I can't reach out to Rogan in that capacity, and I'm sure it got back to her. I can't bug him about this. Let me check something. Okay. I slid into John Jr.'s DMs, no response, so that's not happening. How is the episode with your son changed? Okay, that's interesting. Ask her about her own. Um, yeah, oh yeah, Lynn. Oh, we're I mean, that's the first thing, how to help Ross. Absolutely. Okay, I'm gonna bounce in another 10 minutes because I'm this pre-workout was a mistake. Made a mistake. I'm gonna be honest. Survivor 41 anarchists versus statists. I think everyone is an anarchist on Survivor. Okay, I will ask about Assange and Snowden. That's a good one. That's the other thing. I'm scared to ask her. I want to ask her what it's like feeling, but it's also like I don't want her to be depressed. But at the same time, she's living a nightmare. Be cool, that cool. Be cool. Fuck, it's hot. Whew. Yeah, I know Ross was a big ANCAP. Take care, Devin. I'm gonna be out in a few minutes also. I've never done any drugs. Drugs are bad. Oh, that was the lie detector. If Ross is out of appeals and a presidential pardon is the only way to get him free, what can we do? Yeah, that's gonna be like the first question I'm gonna ask. Cocaine gets you fired from Compound Media. Just look at Artie. Hey, Mike, should anarchism be proselytized? I covered this in the book. I don't proselytize, no. If she's interesting and wants to go on Joe, you could refer to her to Joe Rogan to help her and Ross. Sure, I mean, that's a no-brainer. What did you DM Junior about? I just said, hey, I promised Joe Rogan on his show that I would DM you, and he didn't reply. Let me check to see. No, never mind. He saw it. He saw it. What does your gut tell you? Will Assange die a free man? Yes. I think that's a very obvious one. Unless he's taken out, which is not impossible. Thank you, Connor. You look so sad in that picture. Greg's just a sock of mine. I'm just sending myself money to kind of get an avalanche thing going. It's hot, and I have nothing to talk about. And I'm gonna be whiny. I didn't write. The NPC meme is not in the book by name, but it's there conceptually. It's not that I wasn't aware of it. It didn't exist when the book was done. I have AC, I just haven't put it into the window. Let me look at my, what is your favorite food? Pickled garlic, pink bubblegum ice cream. In terms of cuisine, it would be sushi. The AC is not heavy, it's just complicated to get it in there. No dawaj. Ty no dawaj. Z kim ty rozmawiasz? I work in tech and anarchist. I love that magazine. Hello. My name's Greg from Tech and... Hi, I'm from Tech and Anarchist magazine. I would like to do an interview with Camille Foster. And etc. I loved you audiobook. I listened to it twice on the road. Again, I was listening to it while I was doing deadlifts yesterday. It's fun. It was fun. Pickled garlic, oh my god. It's not spicy. No, I you want the sweet picked garlic. It's kind of sweet. It's so good. You know why I don't have tattoos, Don? Because I got into shaving soaps and now I have 150. So if I got one tattoo by 2 weeks from now, I'd be getting them inside my eyelids. I mean, it's gonna be like favorite thing about living in New York City. Can I give you a few? Um, Memories. Uh, that's a very big one. You're my friends. I've got a good crew here. Um, I'm a homebody. I enjoy that. I like that the subway's always on. I like how there's always something to do. Um, and I love how many industries are here. So it's like publishing's here, but also television, um, and also food. So yeah, that wasn't $100. It was Mexican. It was like $10. Relax. Um, what tattoos I would get if you go on my Instagram? I put up what four tattoos I would get. It's on there. What else do I love about New York? I don't know. What I think people don't appreciate is like with the Steven Crowder stuff. Let's talk about this for a little bit. Um, when you have Atlas Shrugged, right? It's like Atlas Shrugged. When people, creators on YouTube, are all scared that they're one day away from being demonetized, that is a huge opportunity for creator. It doesn't have to be politics. It was like, wait a minute. Like, I have to live in fear because of Steven Crowder? Fuck you. I make you guys money. So, I mean, it's like this. Like, why wouldn't someone who makes a YouTube where you would get tenure, so to speak, as a creator, yeah, you jump ship, and then you could be one of the first ones over there, and you like Howard Stern was serious, and you could promote it. What's your favorite movie about New York? It might be Party Girl, because it's such a good time capsule. I might say Party Girl. Is it Party Girl? It's up there. I think it probably is Party Girl. Yeah. Oh, Party Girl is so good. Oh, it's so good. And it really captures that era. Also, another great one is Downtown 81. Great time capsule. Are there any others? Those are two big ones, I would say. I like the intimate side of New York, you know? Oh, God, Honey Buns. I was watching uh, um, Small Wonder. All these shows I liked back in the day. I got the DVDs to see which ones hold up. Small Wonder does, even though it's retarded. And there's this one episode where this like fat kid in school who's a nerd has a crush on Vicky the robot, and he sits down next to her on the couch. And this kid, he's got this really great comic timing, and he goes to her, he goes, "Good to see you, honey bun." And Vicky goes, because she was programmed, because there was an early conversation, she goes, "You are blubber buns." And he goes, "I feel like we're drifting apart." It's so funny. What's Style Wars? I never heard of Style Wars. Oh, Paris is Burning is another amazing. Oh, I've seen Style Wars. Yeah, yeah. Amazing New York City movie. Okay, I'm getting less hot. So that's good. I can chat for a little bit longer. Will Trump's second term continue just like his first term? Or do you think he'll moderate on a bunch of issues? No, I think things are going to escalate. And I don't know what I mean by that, but it's going to escalate in certain directions. Okay, we have to talk about this. What people don't understand is that tech companies' biggest pressure comes from ultra left wing staff. This is why it looks so ridiculous from the outside to so many. A matter a million times true. And Jack Dorsey spoke about this. He talked about how there was huge pressure internally to ban Alex Jones, which is insane because of all the people, like Alex Jones is the one who's the biggest, evil person. That's yeah. This is an issue. This is a big issue. Okay, I gotta go in 5 minutes because I'm getting uncomfortable, and I'm gonna relax, do my reading. Um, and I'm gonna order that. Probably tomorrow. I'll order the rhino. Excuse me, the hippo. Um, what you call it? Hippo shaving handle. All right. What's this say? Have you ever taken a designer fragrance deep dive? What do you think? Come on. Come on. Oh, not designer fragrances. No, those are terrible. Best writer in terms of technical skill. I'm not that well read. I would say up there is, although I didn't like his novel, is how am I blanking on his name? He wrote. Holy shit! I am Alzheimer'd out. Dennis Johnson is a superb writer. No, I like rhinos. Hippos are bad. I'm getting off a hair razors thanks to you guys. I'm getting that um rhino handle, hippo handle. Damn, what is wrong with me? Hope I'm not having a stroke. Shaving is now like one of the most fun parts of my day because I have all those soaps to go through. It's a fun little hobby. I hated Nabokov. I hated Lolita. Okay, 2 more minutes. This has been an hour and a half, which is a 90-minute thing. I don't think I'd look good with the beard. I owe you $200. No, you don't. If you torrented it, it's. I hope you enjoyed it. Alzheimer's Fund. What's that about? I stopped with the pea protein today. The company often doesn't have the chips in stock. I'm like, fuck it. So today I stopped. Or yesterday was the last day. How big of a role does China play in North Korea? Not. So I'm not growing a Cesar Romero mustache. Not as big as people would like to have it. North Korea, if you read Dear Reader, um, revels in giving China the finger. I'm not reading any other William S. Burroughs. So China does not play that big a role as people in the West like to think. Because the people they are happy to do is punish the population and blame somebody else. I am stopping the Harrys just today because I got all the contributions on Twitter for this Rhino handle. Okay, it's starting to cool down outside. I think it's gonna rain. Let me check the weather. Oh, it's because the humidity was like 85%. Yeah, that's what the issue is. It's not the heat, it's the humidity. Here's the Rhino handle here. I'll show it to you guys. Oh, they have a hippos. Here we go. I guess they sold the other three. I didn't see Milo on Skanks. Is it worth watching? Polar bear fur. This place has. Oh wow. They sell polar bear fur? Oh, I shouldn't have gone down this place. Oh no, boy. Oh boy. This was. These are. Okay, artifacts. Normal. Uh-oh. This was... What have you guys done? Okay. What? Oh boy. Oh boy. I don't need to be on this page. Milo is hilarious on it? Okay. Oh god, you got a seal fur... Oh, here we go. Oh, you could also get mammoth ivory? Fuck. Now I don't know what to do. Hold on. Ah. And this is cheaper. Wait a minute. Mammoth ivory. I don't see where the ivory... Should I get the mammoth ivory instead? Next week, Mike is wearing a polar bear coat and giraffe top hat. Yeah, I'm trying to be as Cruella de Vil as possible. YouTube competitor with same advertiser, same problem. Correct. They have to compete on something. So it could be it's like a Netflix. That's a very easy model to port. I'm not the market, but it could very easily be, as an example. Okay, unlike YouTube, which is like MySpace, everyone has their shit. On Netflix, YouTube, you only have access to these top creators, and then there's the second and third tier. That's a model that can be replicated. Which do we like better, the mammoth or the hippo? I feel like the mammoth doesn't really look like it's anything. Hippo? Okay. We want the hippo, yeah, okay. Let me see something. You can get dice made from mammoth ivory. That's crazy. Hippo's cooler? Okay. Okay, I'm gonna go with the hippo. Okay, we're gonna go with the hippo, yeah. And I'll show it off when I get it. I'll order it next week or something, or tomorrow. I do have ivory chopsticks that are elephant vintage. Okay, I'm going to bounce. I hope you had fun with a little history lesson. Thanks to you all. Thanks to Greg especially. I'm going to hang that up in my park with pride. I will see you all soon, and I will have the AC installed. I don't have a good sign off for these. I gotta work on that. And Tuesday, it's gonna be a really special episode of You're Welcome. It's gonna be really special. Show what again? I don't have the This is if you're looking for the hippo, it's here. Hold on. This is the hippo one. Just ordered what? Hang it, the picture thing. I am gonna hang it. No. I'm waiting for the frame. I'm waiting for the glitter frame. Oh, you didn't see the Jackie picture. Okay. Here it is. It's gonna go near the candy picture, so they're gonna be reunited. An old friend of mine said that memories are what bind the living to the dead, and I think that's true. And that's worth a pretty penny. So, oh, okay. I'll see you all on Tuesday. I'm gonna crack open another window. Thank you all for the support. I hope you're having as much fun on Twitter as I am, because I'm having fun. In case that wasn't obvious. Thanks, Scott. Is Gillette bad? Wait, is Gillette bad? Hold on. I need to know this. Gillette Mach 3. I think I used that before. What's wrong with Gillette? Oh, God, that ad. Yeah, okay. Okay, listen, this isn't about Gillette. This is about the hippo. Listen, if I really feel as if a hippo tusk, thank you, Joseph, makes up a little bit for that ad. It's kind of I'm doing my part. All right, I'll see you all soon.